All right, everyone. Welcome to Dave's Man Cave. Going to do another quick one today. And first of all, quick wrist check. Certina DS Podium. It's actually a really cool quartz GMT. And go watch a review of this one. So this is what we're wearing at the moment. Nice butterfly clasp, 42 mil. It is quartz, but it's COSC certified, which means it has to be accurate to within 0.2 seconds per day. It's ridiculously accurate. And I love that the GMT has a separate complication. Instead of having multiple hour hands, has it off to the side. So very cool watch. So that's what we're wearing today. But what are we here to look at? So we'll do a quick unboxing and overview of one that I've liked for a while. Comes in two variants, and I just decided to go with the cheaper one. Obviously, it's a Tissot. And the one that we are looking at today is the model PR516. So this one, you know, after the PRX, this is probably one of their most popular, most well-known. The PRX is synonymous with being a good quality beginner watch for people's collections that are just getting into horology, but don't want to spend a ton of money, but they want something that's got some heritage. They want something that's got some pedigree, and it's a legit good watch, right? So a lot of people start with PRXs. I was late to that party, but I did get a red one recently. But I always like this one. And here's why. It's basically an Omega Speedmaster for people who don't want to spend $6,000. You can spend $400-something on it. So I could go and get like 10 or 12 of these for the price of one Omega Speedmaster. So what is it? This is the PR516 40 millimeter. Now, you can get these in two variants. You can get it in quartz, which I have done, and I'll explain why. And then, of course, you have an automatic version. The difference is MSRP, which you don't pay. You can get it less than that. But typically, MSRP is going to be around $5.25 for one of these. You're looking at $18.25 for the other. Now, the other one is a 41 mil instead of a 40. It has a crowned or a domed sapphire crystal instead of the flat one. And there's some extra touches to it, but it also is heavier. It's thicker because it's got the automatic movement. And being a chronograph, it's a bit of a thick boy. It's very nice. But by the time you're done with taxes and stuff, it's a $2,000 watch. Didn't want to spend that, but I wanted that look. What I like about it is, before we get into the specs and everything, is that it's not like you're getting a Pagani or you're getting an homage watch or something. This, yes, it looks very similar to an Omega Speedmaster, but it's not trying to be an Omega Speedmaster. The PR516 I'm not sure if it was exactly that name, but this watch's pedigree goes back to 1965. Tissot is very big in motorsports and racing. They are still the official timekeeper for MotoGP racing and stuff like that. So they are heavily involved. They're up there with TOG and Rolex when it comes to motorsport timing and things like that. So, you know, you had in the mid and late 60s, you had Omega, you had Bulova with their lunar pilot. You had some Seiko speed timers. You had a lot of watches were coming out with similar designs around the same thing with a tachometer and a chronograph and sitting in that 40, 41, 42 mil, or maybe down at 39 to 42, depending on, you know, if you went with the Rolex versus, you know, whatever. So you had a lot of similar design language. That was what was popular at the time. So it's not an homage. It's not a copy. It is its legit own design that's got a damn near 60-year history here. So it's legit. So let's go through the specs. This one is the 516 40 millimeter. I'll put a link because it's like a really long model number. It looks like you're calling somebody in the United Kingdom, like the phone number is like way too many digits. It is a 316L stainless steel case. It does have an engraved case back. We've got scratch-resistant sapphire crystal with AR coating, and it has a quick change on the bracelet. So if you wanted to put a strap or something else on here, it's very easy to do. If you look there, which you can also see the engraved back, which is actually really nice. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do this. So you can see it really nice up close and high res. Beautiful machining and stuff like that. Or maybe it's stamped, I don't know. But it looks really good. So you can very quickly take your bracelet off. And if you wanted to put on a strap or something like that, if you wanted to go with leather, or I would think that a black sailcloth would actually probably be excellent on something like this. So now I've got to try to get those little nubbins because I can't see where my other finger is. I'm trying to feel the nubbin. There we go. So pop that in, snap it into place. That's very handy. All right. I'm used to having just one on one side and just hit it with your thumb and pop it out. Here it's got them on both, so you do have to pinch it and be able to see and make sure you have enough fingernail to grab it. Let's go on through the specs, and there are different color variations. So with this one, if you go with the quartz, which is what this is, they've got two sizes. They got 38, 39 mil, and then they got the 40 to 41 mil range. If I go with quartz, you've got this one, which is obviously black and white on silver. You've got one that is exactly like this, but it's got blue and white. You have a rose gold with black and rose gold. Then there's one that is stainless, but then this center line is gold and some of the hands are gold against the black, which looks nice. And then there's one that has rose gold down the center of the links with some rose gold highlights on your complications as well as your hands. And then they got the automatic versions, which are a little bit bigger and they are nicer. I held them side by side and I didn't want to spend, 4 times as much. So on with the specs here. You got 40 mil here, right, measuring across. Your thickness is only 12.16, so it's not super thin, but it's not really thick either. It's actually very balanced for its size. You've only got 100 meter water resistance. It is not a screw down crown, but it's a motor sports. It's not a dive watch, right? So you can still shower with it. You can go swimming. Make sure your crown is in, and make sure you're not pushing your chronograph buttons underwater, any of that kind of stuff. Lug to lug, it does not give. All right, well, don't have that. Sorry, it's not on the website. Let's see. You've got Super Luminova. Let me just charge it real quick with this light. Yeah, and it's got that blue lume. Love that color. Looks really, really good. All right, you got quartz, which does have end of life. So as it gets to the end, the battery starts getting low. It'll start jumping and let you know, hey. Let's see, you've got your 30 minutes and 1/10 of a second split counters, central 60 seconds chronograph, add and split functions. It's just a 3-hand dial. And then you got your second complication down here. There's your 1/10 of a second up there. And now your seconds are on the second hand, matching up with that. And then you've got a 30-minute timer. Stop. All the way around. Let's see, anything else on here before we talk about try it on and what we like or don't like? Can't imagine anything I don't like about it, but it is a nice watch. So it takes Renata 394 type batteries, just so you know. It's very nicely made. So let's go through, do some close-ups here. So there's your close-up of the dial. You got a little bit of 3D effect, not as much as some watches, but very legible. The black and the white on a 40 that's the bottom end. I won't go below a 40 mil watch. It wears kind of like a 41 though. I have other watches that are 40s and feel a little smaller. It feels really, really good. It's got enough weight to it to have some heft. It doesn't feel like a toy. It's all solid links, nicely done. They appear to be just standard push pins. So get your little tool with the screw-in pin and pop those out and tap them back in with a little plastic mallet if you need to adjust it. On my 7.3-inch wrist, we only had to remove 2 links, which actually surprised me because a lot of watches I have to take off 3 to 4 links. So this one was only 2, so it's probably not going to be a good fit for larger wrists. If you've got like an 8 or an 8 1/4 or something like that, it may not fit you at all. So I was able to take out 1 link from each side with the micro adjust, of which there are 3 spots in the middle position, and that is just perfect. It will allow me to go a little bit tighter on a cold day, or if I'm in where the air conditioning is all day and your wrist shrinks a little bit and then you get out in the heat and humidity and it swells. This was perfect for me. It's just loose enough in the middle, but I can tighten it or loosen it just a little bit depending on atmospheric and conditions and things like that. When you travel, you're on a plane, you swell a little bit, stuff like that. Works perfect for me. It's nicely done. I like that it is machined and not stamped like it is typically on your Seikos and things that are in that price range. So for the amount of machining and the amount of work that, look at the crown and stuff. You've got a nice machined on the end of the crown. It's really a beautiful watch. It's very tastefully done. It's not overdone. I like the bracelet. The bracelet looks really good. I like the combination of brushed, and then you've got your high polish brushed. On the watch itself, it's brushed and brushed, but then there's a little chamfered edge right there where they've got a little bit of high polish, and then they got a little bit of high polish on the side of the bezel. To me, it's just a very nice, between the black and the white, and the black and the silver, I kind of put the white and silver together. It's a very nice monochrome, or not monochrome. Is monochrome the white? Because that means one color, right? Monochrome. But you have two. Like a monitor is a monitor. If you had an old computer monitor that was monochrome, it wasn't all one color because you can have white on white or black on black. So I think I'm using the right term. But it's a very nice monochrome, classy, nice high contrast. There's just a lot going for this watch for the price. Fits really, really well for my wrist with that. You get your extra clasps, your safety on the clasp, simple 2-button push to pop out. I love the nice brushed stainless. It's a nice heavy-duty clasp. Snaps into place firmly. I ain't going nowhere. I've got just a little bit of slop there, not much. But that's because I'm in-house in the air conditioning. If I was outside in the heat and the humidity, it'd tighten up a little bit. Perfect. Beautiful. Just a simple T. The one thing I've noticed with other Tissot watches, the stainless is beautiful. It's very soft steel. It's not hardened in any way. So you will scratch it. If you're doing a lot of typing and doing this, you will scratch it from dirt and you will get scuffs. This one's got a couple little ones right there. I don't know if I can get the right angle. Yeah, like right there. It's just the nature of it, If you don't want scuffs all over your watch on the inside of your wrist, you kind of need like leather or rubber or something like that. Anything stainless, they don't harden it. It's not a knife steel, so you're definitely going to get it scratched. But that's just character. It means you wear it, you're enjoying it. It's doing its purpose. It's not a safe queen sitting in your watch winder, not seeing any use. So really beautiful. And in some ways, it reminds me a little bit of this. Now, they're two very different styles. Put them both on the wrist here. That's a 42, that's a 40. They're both quartz. This is a chronograph, that's a GMT. This has a tachometer. This is more like in some ways, this, not the complication, but the case looks a lot like a Rolex Explorer 2. So these could do the same. You could pull off the same outfits, I guess is what I'm getting at here. You can definitely wear it casual. It dresses up. I don't know if I would quite wear it with a suit or a tux, but I think you could. Maybe not as much this one, but I think you can because it does look like an Omega Speedmaster. So, James Bond would wear one with his tux while he's beating people up in the casino there in Monaco, which I've been to. Monaco's a beautiful, beautiful country. Love Monte Carlo. But, honestly, there's a lot of similarities here. Now, they are both owned. They are different companies. There's no ties between them other than the Swatch Group owns both Certina, and Omega, as well as Tissot. But, you're getting kind of similar stuff. This is a butterfly clasp. I don't know. I see some similarities. They took the time to machine the back and stuff. You don't have the open case back, but instead of just having, a cheap flat case back with the serial number like you get on a Timex, it's nice. It's giving you your motorsports. It's giving you that vibe and that feel. So all in all, beautiful watch. I'm going to try to hold it steady now for the people that, hey, I just want to see it. Stop moving it around. I don't have a macro lens. I don't have a professional studio here. I'm working with what I got. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to upload it without editing it, and I'm going to go play Call of Duty. So there's your face. There's your dial. Try and get up close. Get some, there you go. Some nice. Let's look at the side here. You can see the two-tone where you can see the polish brushed back to the polished edge. Really, really nice. Here's your lug. They are 22 mil lugs. I just don't know what the lug to lug is, and I don't have my caliper up here. Let's go back over to the crown and your pushers for your chronograph. Again, Butamus, and the back. It's really a beautiful, try to hold it steady. It's a beautiful watch. For less than $500, you've got something that's kind of like a legend. That style, that late 60s, early 70s Speedmaster kind of vibe. But you're not buying a Pagani, you know. Yeah, you're not paying $100 for it either. You're going to spend almost $500 for it. I did get it a bit cheaper from my friends over at Tripping Company in Dawsonville, which is redoing their showroom and stuff, and might be adding some more brands. We'll see. But that's my go-to place here. If you're in North Georgia, you're anywhere near Dawsonville, you're anywhere near Dahlonega, that area, Gainesville, it's worth a drive from Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta's got Tudor and Grand Seiko and stuff, but if you want to go get Seiko, you want Hamilton, you want Alpina or Alpine, you want Accutron. Man, they've got some gorgeous Accutrons. They're like $4,000, but they got some amazing Accutrons there. They got a lot of neat stuff. So I go up there, they just give me a good deal. I don't think I'm getting a better deal than you could ask for. I don't know, maybe a little, but just go in and ask Trip or Mick, say, hey, what's your best price on that? And they will give you a price that will be on par with anything you'll find anywhere else, usually a little bit cheaper than I could find it on Amazon. So there you go. That is essentially the Speedmaster for us not wealthy folks. If you want that look, but you don't want a copy, you don't want a fake, you don't want an homage, you don't want inspired by, you want its own thing, but you just like that look, but you're not willing to compromise and go get something cheap from China. You want a proper Swiss-made, Swiss chronograph with that design language from a really reputable old Swiss company, one of the older companies out there. There you go. There's your guy. We'll talk to you folks later. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.